Hey, it's Marta, and today I want to talk about the concept of suffering in spirituality, which is a badge of honor and something you have to pass through to get what you want or to be a good person, which is a real virus and something that I think is extremely toxic in the spiritual world. In every spiritual world, you have some kind of badge of honor for suffering, and I will explain to you why it is so wrong. First of all, if you believe that you're the way you are and so on and so forth has an impact on your environment, then you will be open to the idea that you attract things to yourself. I'm not talking only manifestation, law of attraction, law of assumption, name it as you want, it's just detail. Of course, there are differences there, but it's about the core belief that your inner state influences your outer state. And you can explain this in psychology. It's very simple. Body language and so on and so forth. The way you look at people, the things that you expect all that is non-verbal and so on and so forth, you will get a feedback from your outer world automatically. It doesn't mean that this feedback automatically reflect your complete state of man. It could reflect one thing, it could reflect a situation and so on and so forth. So now if you think, for example, that you have not so much influence on your environment, and that at the end of the day some god, entities, universe or whatever decides for you, then this video is not for you. What I want to say in this video is that we often see content that tries to give a reason for suffering, gives a narrative to what happened to people and why it works like it works and so on and so forth. And there is always something that is very impregnated by the moral of people. So it could be religious, it could be some sort of trauma or some sort of values and so on and so forth. Doesn't matter, it's personal, it's never universal. But some people, I'm generalizing, but lots of people are projecting that outside of their perception. So they think, if I think like that, if I've lived through this and through that, then it must be true. And it's very rarely the case. It's mostly it's not true, it's not accurate and so on and so forth. And the most simple way to close a gap when you have had a life of suffering, of fighting some inner demons or outside demons or whatever, and I'm not going into the invisible and so on and so forth. I'm not talking about entity trying to attack you and so on and so forth. I'm not talking about that at all. That's a shortcut for the brain when you're looking for answers, you are looking for help and so on and so forth, and you don't find any answer in any narratives or therapy forms or proposition from any religion, and you think, okay, somehow I must have earned this. And this is where people lose themselves. And I mean also very intelligent people who think, okay, I must have some kind of not only pattern, but somehow deep in me, I think I've deserved it. And that's where you need to be really, really, really careful, because it never answers your problems. So it gives a narrative, but it never gives you a solution. Because if you say, for example, okay, I have such difficulties in my life because somehow I've deserved it, you close the door for possibilities. And the problems that I see in a lot of spiritual narrative is that they are closing all doors. They are closing the doors of possibilities and so on and so forth. And some of them are kind of insulting your intuition, your intelligence, your perception, and telling you, okay, this is this way, you have to adapt. Just take it as it is, and then don't complain about it. It's a human condition. The human condition that has always to be tied to some kind of suffering, which is, in my opinion, completely bollocks. So I'm not saying that there are not experiences that are making us suffering. I'm just saying expecting the suffering is totally biased. And you have lots of spiritual teachers who tell you not to change your circumstances if you can't, but to change your perspective. Yes and no. To me, suffering and pain is the same, because it's a quite, yes, discourse that you find a lot in the spiritual community, that you can have pain and no suffering. And I think it's hand in hand. Of course, I could break my leg and I could choose to just see the positive and focus on how it's gonna get better and feel the pain at the same time. But expect from myself that I won't suffer around it, that my brain is not going to invent a narrative around it. It's a total illusion in my eyes. It's the definition of expecting as a human that we are absolutely not tied to judgment, to interpretation, to rumination, and so on and so forth. I'm not saying that those things are cool and we should cultivate them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, don't try to put yourself under pressure and expect from yourself that you are non-judgmental, that you're not suffering, not ruminating, and so on and so forth. And the sooner you give yourself a break regarding this, the better it will be, the easier it will be. Every time you try to correct yourself and to tell yourself, I shouldn't think like this is only judgment, I shouldn't judge, it's gonna pass, it was not their intention, and so on and so forth, you are gaslighting yourself. Of course, you can have this reflection on a second thought, but every time you try to fight your primal impulse, and I don't care if it came from your limbic system or your reptilian brain, I don't give a fuck. It's there, it's real for you in the moment, and the more you fight it, the bigger you will make it. And in my opinion, there is an energetic response to this. So it means I am incorrect, I am not allowed to judge, something is wrong with me, I should think like this and like this, I should feel at peace, I should not have feelings of suffering, I should not ruminate, and so on and so forth. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, while you could just think really relaxed, okay, I'm having my tantrum, my old programs, and so on and so forth. I'm not fighting it. I'm having my tantrum. I'm not saying be angry at other people and let it out. That's not what I'm saying. But recognizing that you have this feeling without going into them or completely repressing them. And that's the point where the liberation happens, when you just give yourself a fucking break, and also try to find something that is intellectually appealing to you. The mind is not the enemy. The mind is the enemy when it takes control over everything. Have a good day. Bye.